want me to be. Yahweh, please have mercy on me. Yahweh, please have mercy on me. Yahweh, be what you want. Yahweh, please have mercy on me. I wanna be what you want me to be. Please have mercy on me. Show not easy, Yahweh shot, nowhere to escape, hear the desperate cry. The Christians say they wanna crack the sky, but I wait impatient on the king who come. I wanna be brother when I walk through the gate. I get tired when I think about a snake. Why they wanna try us? Why they wanna be fake? Yet I think I.
Shalom, fam. Alright. There's a pressing topic I want to talk to y'all today about. Can y'all imagine so I'm finna go into a little bit more detail of what happened. Alright, so 10 years ago, we went to purchase a home. And we paid rent to own for the house. And after the 10 years was up of paying rent faithfully, and like I told y'all know in Florida it'd be hurricanes and everything, floods, and all type of stuff. So we finished, and 10 years later, well, we were supposed to be done 5 years ago, before that 10. But anyway, because people lied and steal and cheat, 10 years later, a new person came in, looking innocent, sitting there looking calm. And y'all want to know what that person did? So look, I had the information I could share with you. So I turned that off. So I had the information on to share with you. Somebody working on something over here. But anyway, 10 years later, the guy came in, and there was a July, and in July, I'm going to read to y'all the storms that was happening in July. All right. So in July, was the 7th month. July the 7th. July. All right. So in July, it says hurricane season in Florida officially runs from June the 1st to November the 30th, with peak months typically between August and October. All right, so it's already in the database that in Florida, the hardest hit times is in June the 1st all the way to November. So July is covered in that time. And August and October. All right, so what happened? Because the storm gonna come. What happened in 2024? All right, in Florida. Hurricane Debbie impacts the Florida Big Bend. Hurricane Debbie originated as a tropical wave at the end of July 2024 in the central Atlantic Ocean. All right. Casualties of Hurricane Debbie. But let's look at this stuff here. Forecasters they accurately predicted an above average Atlantic hurricane season from June the 19th, when Alberto formed, to November the 18th. When Sarah dissipated, there were 18 named storms, including 7 tropical storms and 11 hurricanes, 5 of which were major hurricanes: Beryl, Helen, Kirk, Milton, and Raphael. All right? Is July a bad month for hurricane? We read that. So, y'all see the storms that happened in 2024. It was so bad, it's on Wikipedia, family. And I'll share the link with you when I'm off of this live. In 2024, so for everybody that's in Florida that lost y'all place because of hurricane damage in Florida in 2024, this one is for you. The 2024 Atlantic hurricane season was a very active and extremely destructive Atlantic hurricane season that became the third costliest on record. The third costliest on record. Behind only 2017 and 2005, the season featured 18 named storms, 11 hurricanes, and 5 major hurricanes. It was also the first since 2019 to feature multiple categories, Category 5 hurricanes. Additionally, the season had the highest accumulated cyclone energy, ACE, rating since 2020, with a value of 161.6 units. The season officially began on July the 1st and ended on November the 3rd. These dates, adopted by convention, have historically described the period in each year when most subtropical and tropical cyclones occurs in the Atlantic, and it still goes around that triangular trade where they was taking our ancestors. So look, first system formed July the 19th, so they got that documented. So I'm going on down and say the first system, tropical storm Alberto, developed in June the 19th. Then made landfall near Tampico, Tamaulipas, the next day. Afterwards, 2 storms formed in quick succession. So people didn't really have opportunity to re-up at the end of June. And remember, they was cutting stuff. They was giving out money to everybody. Nobody hardly had nothing. People was getting laid off and all type of stuff. Now look, this is in June, with the first hurricane Beryl being a rare June major hurricane, the earliest Category 5 Atlantic hurricane on record. The earliest Category 5 Atlantic hurricane on record, and only the second recorded in July. So June, July. So the earliest one recorded in record was in June of last year. So look at this during this time now. So in June, the earliest Category 5 Atlantic hurricane, the Ethiopian Ocean hurricane on record, and only the second recorded in July in history, fam. Next came Tropical Storm Chris, which formed on the last day of June and quickly made landfall in Veracruz. Activity then quieted down across the basin for most of July, after Beryl dissipated with no new tropical cyclones forming due to the presence of Saharan air layer saw across much of the Atlantic. In early August, Hurricane Debbie. So look, in July got hit around the beginning of July. So that's why when we had went down there and paid our rent in July, we had to drop it inside of the drop box because nobody is gonna be in office. They only come to milk the cows when it's safe. So they didn't come out there to milk all the cows where I was staying at, what I had purchased, the building that I was staying at. All right, and those buildings are war torn with hurricane. Those buildings were war torn with hurricanes, and nobody there can afford to fix it because every year the rent jumped up, and around that year rent jumped up to $200. $200. And that year was the worstest year hit with hurricanes. So as rent jumped up to $200, people had to start pulling out of their savings, and people that didn't have no savings account because they couldn't afford now, then all of their money started going towards rent. And some people they ain't have no food in their house. It was people coming around asking for something to drink, something to eat. It was people laying down inside of their house without lights on. It was flood. And if y'all can remember, I posted up a video of showing the water how deep it was, fam. You couldn't even step in it. It was alligators out there. It's alligators, cottonmouth snakes, some of the most poisonous snakes. The second most poisonous snake in the world is a cottonmouth snake. The first, I believe, is in Africa. All right, and I can't remember the name of that one. But anyway, the second most poisonous snake in the world is a cottonmouth snake. Do your geography, do your National Geographic study of animals, and you'll see, look up cottonmouth snake when you get off. All right, so it was fish swimming in the water early in the morning because it took a good around about the middle of the month for all the water to dissipate, and nobody had lights for at least, let's say, 3 weeks at a time, and the lights would continually get shut off because the winds were still heavy. And the other storm that they was talking about was knocking out people's lights. So during that time, and I have documented records showing that even the Wi-Fi company, they had shut that down multiple times, and the lights got shut down multiple times. There was damage to people's homes all across Florida. Now, the rich people that stayed on the seacoast, they left because they could afford to leave. And whoever that was rich that decided to stay, they witnessed the damage firsthand. So they looked out their window. It wasn't a safe place to be. And you know we on an island anyway. Florida is an island. So let's get back to it. All right, so a lot of people lost their places. And then you had people doing recommendations that they had to continually, the people that was getting subsidies had to continually fill out every 6 months. And around that time in July, a lot of people had to refill out for food assistance. It wasn't safe for the churches to come out that usually come out. The churches that come out is the churches that people say that they don't want to join because if you join them churches, you going to hell. The Catholic Church was coming out and giving out food, and the other churches wasn't giving out no food. They was just gathering tithes and offering. But anyway, back to what I'm saying. And so all that was going on. I had a death in my family and everything. You know, my wife had a death in her family. So when you look at all this stuff going on, this new guy come inside the office. Listen to me, family. Nobody was in the office. Nobody was in the office for at least a good 3 or 4 months. So when they finally showed up to the office with their snakish, evil self, when he finally showed up in the office, he came and said that people was missing rent. So the guy showed up in the office saying that people was missing their rent. And this is July, all the way down. And so he found the rent stubs, and they documented it in the next month after. So they documented it in. Let's say they skipped over the 8th month. He said he couldn't find it, but we had went down there as if he said he found it. Then no, we went down there. I had to walk down there and pay it. But remember, hurricanes was hitting hard in the 8th month, and we're gonna get to that. But anyway, this is July we talking about. July, I walked through the hurricane because I didn't want me and my wife to be without a place to stay, even though we purchased our home. So I walked. If any of y'all know Brother Philip Scott, anybody that can hear this, y'all please speak on this for me. My name is on my video. If you can't pronounce that, you could just call me Mr. Kennedy. But anyway, channel CNN, whichever one of y'all want to take on this right here and speak on this, because even the news broadcasters came out there. Channel 13 was out there broadcasting the damage that was out there. I don't know if they ever aired it. I put videos up of how deep the water was. I believe the water at that time was like 5 foot deep, and there were bluegills swimming out there, shell crackers, 9 perches, snakes, all type of stuff was going on out there. A child had got drowned out there and died, and this guy come in and say he kicked out 30 people. From the time he came in, this guy kicked out 30 people. The other person got fired because she wasn't going to kick out nobody in the middle of a hurricane. So I believe they need to let that woman come back. But anyway, back to what I'm saying. So July, they say everybody missed that, but everybody did, because I dropped my rent. I dropped my rent inside of the box, because you know they got a box at the office in some places where you rent at. So I dropped off my rent faithfully. That's how faithful I was to paying the rent. All right. And remember, from the last season, they raised up rent so high before the other landlord had came in. We was paying $1,000 and something a month. So that new landlord came in and dropped it down. All right, because we had to fix our places, and you can't fix your place if all your money going on rent and nobody's coming around to fix the rent. The place was molded. There was a guy that stayed there for 30, 50 years. He purchased his place for 50 years. He got evicted before we did. A white guy was staying there for 50 years, and he died before he witnessed his place got lost. The other guy that was staying there, he got kicked out by that same person. That place was so ran down, looked like they were staying inside of a shack. Nobody can fix nothing over there. And it's sad to tell you that that's how it is in a lot of places where these slum lords is at. But anyway, back to what I'm saying. So after all that, so the next month come around. So I'm just telling y'all simply, the guy said that we lacked the 7th month and the 8th month, but all those months was paid. So then he jumped from the 7th month to the 9th month. So mysteriously he loses the rent again, and it's documented back inside of that the next month after that the rent was paid double again, because he suddenly found the MoneyGram. He suddenly found it, and now he said we owe 2 months. So every month that come around, he put that on there, and in the middle of the month, he add the next month on there. So it looked like you owe 3 months now. So now you get to the other month, and now instead of paying what you're supposed to be paying, now you paying about $2,000 and some change a month. And then and so it keep going down. And then you got, when we get to December, he swore up and down we didn't pay December. So we had to go down there and show him pay stubs. Look, we paid December. So we paid more on December. And then he started erasing stuff out of the website. But we got all of the pay stubs that we paid December about 4 times. Now we get to the next year, and he had already filed an eviction for us to be able to be put off of the premises. But he was still receiving rent from us, which if you still receiving rent from somebody in Florida, that means that you can't evict them, especially going back all those months that was already paid. But anyway, we move on down to the day, the last day. We're around the last day because we were supposed to leave on the 30th, and we already left. The windows I put in, that nobody came over there and fixed nothing, that I had to come out of my money and pay for, I took it out the window. I should have pulled up the flow that I fixed, but I didn't do that because I just didn't feel like dealing with all that. I took the 2 windows out and we left. Family, before we left, the whole place on one side was molded with black mold, jet black mold, tar mold. There's holes in the floor. There's holes seeping through the walls. When the hurricanes come, the water come inside of the place and you walking on water. And that's why the whole kitchen sank. See, I didn't explain this to y'all while I was going through, because I heard people that was going through this and going through that. And I was going through so much until I felt like, what's the purpose of me coming over here and saying this? There's a case going on, and I need to fulfill this case first before I come over here and disclose anything to y'all. So I'm disclosing it to y'all. Family, the whole kitchen sink, dispensated, fell down. My wife or I could have got hurt. It dry rotted and fell down. See, this is what the judge didn't want to hear, because she asked us, did she pay the money? Did y'all put money inside of the thing? They didn't even acknowledge that I was staying there. They put her as the head of the lease and the only one on the lease. So when we went to court, they forced my wife inside of a place that she didn't decide to be in there herself. My wife didn't decide to be the head of the house. Anyway, they took that away from me. And the lady was so quick to run out the court, she didn't hear none of this. So if she listening online, then she can hear. And I don't say, Your Honor. But anyway, I ain't get to speak. But anyway, back to what I'm saying. She refused to look at this. I got pictures of everything, and I'll post it up there for y'all to see. Since they want to be low down and dirty and nasty, I'm going to post it up there for y'all to see. I'll cover up the address and everything. And anyway, back to what I'm saying. So there's holes in the floor. There's a big gaping hole in the floor. The guy that got kicked out, remember the guy I told you about that stayed there for 50 whole years? That got put out? Anyway, back to what I'm saying. They jacked up the lot rent, because some places you pay lot rent. They jacked up the lot rent, which was supposed to be land taxes. They jacked that up. So the people that was paying regular lot rent, they don't pay that no more. Imagine you stay in a place and you paid your stuff off for 50 years. And at the time when you getting ready to die, somebody jack up the rent so high you can't even afford to get gas in your car to go to the hospital. There were old folk kicked out of there. Old folk. Men with children, women with children, kicked out during hurricanes. Anyways, back to what I'm saying. So there's holes inside of the floor that came, a bug infection like you wouldn't believe. So it took so much raid that most of the money went on raid and went on trying to save up money to get wood. And they continue to raise up the rent. The guy that came there in the middle of a contract came in, and 90 days later, guess what? We're going to raise up y'all rent. 90 days later, we're going to jack up y'all rent. So they say they're going to raise it up to this. That man raised up our rent, if you want to think about it, to $2,000 extra. So he jacked up the rent. All in all, what I'm trying to tell y'all, if you sitting in front of somebody and you say, Your Honor, and somebody telling me that there's no crookedness going on around here, it's crooked, it's crooked everywhere you go. So anyway, it just made me feel better to acknowledge how crooked and low down and dirty people can look. You can have people looking in your face trying to look like they so innocent and everything and ignore everything you say. So yesterday before we left, uh somebody told us that they said that they're not going to give us back our security deposit, which is against the law in the United States of America. But you know how that go. It's against the law, but they do it anyway. People do whatever they want to do. Can you imagine that? Even the sheriff that was in there, and like I said, everybody got their thing that they play. But even the sheriff that was in there, the sheriff said, "So y'all, he should be able to leave since he's not on the thing, right?" No, they wouldn't even hear the sheriff. They didn't listen to the sheriff. If they not gonna listen to the sheriff, what make you think they gonna listen to me? So the sheriff was like, "Well, um, can they put something on it?" No, this lady packing up her purse, getting ready to leave out of there with her with putting her money inside her purse. Cause she said to my wife, "Did y'all pay the money? Why would we pay something we already paid to you? You gonna take it anyway." Well, what did y'all pay? What should she pay? What should I pay? Ask my wife what she should pay. Because y'all didn't put my name on there at all. But anyway, that's what happened, fam. Now I'm getting tired. I'm finna go back and listen to myself to make sure that I like to go and listen to myself to see what I had said, because this is therapeutic to me, man. Therapeutic to me. I done lost so much equipment in that place. The electricity done knocked out computers, done knocked out this. I done lost so much stuff in there. And people is online, they trying to degrade people because their career ain't going nowhere. They locking up people, saying a RICO charges, and I don't see no RICO. How many of these major companies could have been able to reach out to help artists like me? No, we can't do that. Then you got people take. Oh man, I better get off here, y'all. Maybe y'all should check out to understand what area I was getting ready to go in. Let me tell y'all this channel that y'all should check out. Check out Brother Willie D. Willie D Live. Check out so y'all can see like what type of angle I'm at with this. Y'all can check out Top Music Attorney. Check out Emancipation Media, and then African Diaspora News Channel. I spoke to an elder. If he speaks about how people is doing people with rent, then I share the video on my share page on YouTube. Make sure if you're not following me on YouTube, Facebook, family on Facebook, just look up my name, Yiqwaba on YouTube, and follow me there. The same name that you see on underneath my picture. Make sure y'all follow me on YouTube. I didn't want to worry my mama with that, but Ma, if you listening, I'm safe now. We found us a place to go. We at a place now, and I'll let you know once we get settled. In this just a transitional place, but once we get settled in our regular place, I'll let you know, Ma, and y'all If I get my wife permission, I let her take y'all through a house tour. I don't like to do things without informing my wife family. But anyway, if you're not following me on Facebook, and Facebook, this is why I ain't been on Facebook like that. I don't reveal all of my stuff. It wasn't the right time to reveal it. But for right now, I felt like since they already done made their decision that this is how they finna run with it, that's why I went on here and that lady already done slammed the gavel and walked out the whole court hearing. She was putting stuff inside of her purse, moving her hands, chewing, and it was a biased hearing and all type of stuff. So if there's a lawyer out there that want to take on this case, y'all can inbox me on Facebook. You can DM my wife. I send her information underneath the video if y'all want to DM my wife. If there's a lawyer out there that would like to take on this case, you could take it on. You know what I mean? You could conversate with us on the background and we'll check to see, let's see how that go. But anyway, I'm about to get up off of here, and I hope that somebody got something out of this, to know that this world evil and we got to learn how to maneuver through things, and y'all will see y'all. But this world is evil, man. It's people in this world that knowingly or unknowingly are doing people in. And just because a lot of people say, well, they must not know better, just because you don't know better don't mean you're not going to be held accountable. So anyway, it pays to listen and learn instead of just running over people. And at first I said that, Father, y'all, I want you to judge. Now I say, nah, you know what? I said, you know what, y'all, put this in your hand. I need to let go of this anger and this bitterness. But every time I think about this, it really does something to me. But anyway, I'm finna get up off of here. Y'all knows the hearts of man. And I'm finna just leave it at that. I'm finna get off here. Please like and share the video. And thank you for the ones of y'all that came and sat down and listened. And keep our sister in prayer, Sister Naomi. She just lost somebody in her family. But anyway, I got to go, fam. Shalom to the hearers and the keepers of the word. Remember, read inside the scripture. It say, you shall not steal. And this is what people is doing. They're stealing from people. Matter of fact, a lot of people, they hold their time is being stolen. And that's a shame. Shalom, family. This is why I feel like E.T.
E.T. Phone Home. E.T. Phone Home.